In the last video, we had the chip method showing subtraction, and that's good for trying to understand and wrap our mind around what's going on. And now we're going to take it, though, to the subtraction property, because we don't want to have to keep drawing those chips all the time, or carrying around a bag of chips with us to do subtraction. Okay, so the subtraction property says this, that A minus B, where A and B are any two real numbers, but we're using integers right now, but they could be any real numbers. But that's the same thing. We can rewrite it as A plus the opposite of B. And so it looks like that. So we change subtraction to addition, and then that allows us to do certain things. It allows us to use addition rules, and we don't have to come up with a new set of rules for subtraction. So we're going to change in these next problems, we're going to change it from subtraction to adding the opposite. And there's all different ways you can think of it. So in my first problem, A, in example 5 here, I have 21 minus 13. I'm going to change it to 21 plus, and then I'm going to do the opposite of 13, which is negative 13. So it's kind of like you're scooting the subtraction sign over to the number behind it, okay? Now I can use addition, 21 plus a negative 13, $21 in the bank. I take out 13. What do I have? I have it more positive, so it's going to be positive, and I get $8. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, wait a minute, I remember learning some time ago that, you know, two negatives make a positive, or a negative and a positive. That's multiplication rules. So let's toss those things out of your brain if you're trying to bring those memories back. They'll come up when we do multiplication in a little bit. But right now we're working on addition. So how much do we have? We're at 21 on the number line, and then we're going to the left 13 steps, and we wind up at a positive 8. We have more positive than we do negative. That's how I think of it. Okay, next one, B. So we have a negative 11. You keep the first number the same, plus, and now it's going to be a negative 7. So back to, you can think of the chip method or number line, but you have negative 11, and now you have more negative, so you're really negative 18. So you wrote a check for $11, you wrote a check for $7, so you wrote a check, you're subtracting 18 as a total there. Okay, now we have a 6, we keep the 6, we change subtraction to addition, and then we change, so that part changes, and then this part changes. You change it from a negative 13 to a positive 13. 6 plus 13 is 19. Again, you could think of the chips if that helps, but you're subtracting a negative, which means you're adding. So, okay. And then our last one, we have a negative 5. We're going to change it to addition. And then we're going to change the opposite. It's always two changes, so you change subtraction to addition, and then the negative one, we do the opposite of that, which is a positive one. Now we have to think, what's negative 5 plus 1? If I were $5 in the hole and I added $1, now I'd be $4 in the hole. So in that case, I have more negative than I do positive. Okay, so that's the subtraction property and how it works. And now we have this example with the order of operations here, so that'll be a fun thing to do. So I'm going to look at what I have. It looks like I have parentheses, so I want to focus on those parentheses right now. So 8 minus, and then I'm going to look inside these parentheses, and I'm going to change it from subtraction. So it's going to be a negative 3 plus a negative 1. Now notice that I slid in some more parentheses there. That's just for clarification, so I can see what the operation is. Usually in our books, they won't put a plus, minus, next to each other. They would put in the parentheses to say, hey, I'm adding a negative 1. And then don't let me forget the minus 9 here at the end. Okay, so now I can do the addition that's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to make that 8 minus, and then that's going to be a negative 4. I should have put it in green. That's okay. All right, so now I've done what's in the parentheses. You'll say, well, I still have parentheses. Yep, I do. That's to clarify that that is a negative 4. So now I'm going to start on the left and work my way to the right. I'm going to go 8, I'm going to change it to adding the opposite. So I'm going to be adding a 4. And I have a minus 9 still there. I haven't done that part yet. So, and you might say, well, why don't you do that at the same time? I'm just doing one step at a time here. So I did the 8 minus a negative 4, turned into 8 plus 4, which is 12, minus 9. And then 12 minus 9 is going to be 3. So that's how we would do that problem.